All right, we got some pretty interesting movie news to cover today. We are getting a reboot of the classic movie Bullitt. Big fan of that one myself. Disney has a new CEO yet again. We also got more news on Pirates of the Caribbean 6. And finally, we could have a merger between Blumhouse and James Wan. All right, guys, the first I want to cover is Pirates of the Caribbean 6. This is one that Margot Robbie was working on and she was supposed to star in, but this was canceled. You may have already heard that news a couple weeks ago. They're saying it could have been because there is a greater chance now that Johnny Depp could be returning. That's good and bad news. I know a lot of us want to see Johnny Depp back, but with him in it the last movie or two, kind of got a little stale. So that's not exactly great news for production numbers and things like that. Obviously, they want to make a profit. They want to get people in. But I think after all this stuff that's happened with Johnny Depp, him returning would probably be a good thing. As far as my point of view is concerned, I could take it or leave it. Honestly, I'm kind of burned out of the whole Pirates of the Caribbean thing. And this is all talks, by the way, talks and rumors. There's nothing saying Johnny Depp is coming back, but there just wasn't enough substance here for part 6. At least that's what I'm gathering. So the chance of him coming back, though, being that this movie was canceled, is significantly greater than before. If Johnny Depp does return, let's just talk about if he returns, they're going to need a new script because he doesn't fit into this script. That could be why this movie got canceled. But the movie could also got canceled for multiple other reasons as well. So it's hard to say. This is a lot of he said, she said. It's a lot of rumors, a lot of possibilities. But I guess you can use your own imagination and decide whether or not you think Johnny Depp's coming back in a new movie. Leave your comments down below on that one while we move on to our next story, the remake of the classic movie Bullitt. As a car guy, I love cars, everything about them. If you didn't already know, I do have another YouTube channel called Automotive Antics. It's all about cars. I love the Bullitt movie. It's a great movie, and honestly, the majority of the movie is okay, but everyone just loves those car scenes. The car chase scenes in there are great. But we are getting a reboot starring Bradley Cooper. I like Bradley Cooper. I think he's a great actor, and personality-wise, I could see him as Steve McQueen. I really could. So this casting kind of excites me. I would love to see what he can bring to the table. I'm trying to think back of the personality and what Steve McQueen brought to the screen in that movie, and I think Bradley Cooper would be a really good person to match that energy. He was kind of quiet, low-key, got the job done, but very serious, you know. So I think a remake with this, as long as we use the same cars. Oh, please use the same cars. The 68 Mustang Fastback. I absolutely love that car. And of course, the Dodge Charger. That chase through San Francisco is absolutely epic. So if we can get those two cars back in this movie, I would love it. I don't know if we can do this without those cars, though. I mean, that is 100% the movie. But let's be honest, that movie was very long for its time, and it was really, really slow paced. I mean, I even fast forwarded through a lot of it because it was just dragging and dragging and dragging. Now, the makers of the movie are saying that it is not going to be a remake of the original, but it's going to be a new story based on an old film, which honestly worries me a little bit. I would like a new take on the movie, but there's a lot of the movie I still want to see. I want to be in that same era, that same time frame. I want the old classic cars. I want the old outfits people wore back then. I want that 60s era. So we'll just have to wait and see. We'll get some more information on that down the road. But moving on to our next interesting story. Disney has a new CEO. I'm actually very excited for this because Bob Iger is back as Disney's CEO. Now, Bob Chapek, I never know if I'm pronouncing his name right, Chapek, whatever. Some people call him something else I'm not going to mention. But his leadership's been questionable at best. And Disney, you can definitely tell over the past couple years of him being CEO, has definitely taken a turn that has upset a lot of people. And I think Disney has finally realized that and has replaced him as CEO and asked Bob Iger to come back for 2 more years. Now, nowhere in any of the multiple articles that I'm finding can I find a reason that Bob Chapek has left, whether it was on his own accord or if Disney just decided to replace him because of the direction that they were heading in. They didn't like his leadership. But that was addressed in one of the articles. I'm going to read this one off of Collider, who is a very reputable source. And they said that he has a very questionable leadership that needed to be addressed. So I'm guessing they let him go for that reason, because Disney has gotten a lot of flack over their choices over the past couple of years. They even state that he had announced a mass number of layoffs and shares a number of opinions that clearly did not align with the company's vision. So again, this just kind of reassures me that it wasn't him leaving on his own accord. This is something Disney decided we need to change because we don't like the direction the company's going in. Now, personally, I think this is great news for Disney. I love the direction Disney was going at the time that Bob Iger was CEO for so many years. And I think we can all agree that there was a sudden turn that took when Chapek was CEO, and nobody has seemed to be on Disney's side ever since. And with Iger back, I believe this could totally turn Disney back in the direction of the people and what they want to see. So without getting too deep into politics, I just want to say I think this is great for Disney, and I'm very eager to see what he's going to do from here on out. All right, so the final story for today is very exciting for us horror fans. James Wan and Jason Blumhouse are in talks of merging together. Holy crap. Could you imagine this? So Jason Blum has his own studios called Blumhouse. Obviously, we know he's making a ton of movies. We have Megan coming out, which I am super excited to see. That looks absolutely creepy as hell. And then James Wan, who, I mean, he's a horror god himself in my eyes. We got stuff like Annabelle Comes Home, Insidious, The Nun, numerous other horror movies. You can't even begin to start talking about his success. And now we're talking of merging them into one mega powerhouse. So according to Bloody and Disgusting, who I'm going to read off just one of the many articles we have here, Variety also reported this, so you can take it from either side. It says that James Wan and Jason Blum are in, quote, advanced talks to merge Wan's Atomic Monster and Blum's Blumhouse Productions, the two horror titans looking to form what Variety is describing as a mega house of chills and thrills over at Universal's Pictures. I mean, just think about that. What these guys could accomplish together. I mean, look at what they did individually. I mean, they're putting out the best horror movies I've ever seen in years. So I can only pray that this merger goes through. Now, they even dive into how this might work. Now, according to Variety's details, it says, after merging, the parties expect that Atomic Monster and Blumhouse will continue to operate as separate labels, with each maintaining its own creative autonomy and brand identity. Atomic Monster is expected to utilize the existing Blumhouse infrastructure to further scale their activities in film, TV, and new content areas. The idea behind the alliance is to increase the output from each side. They also hope to expand into horror-related games and live entertainment and audio. That is pretty interesting. So they're going to help each other out to form bigger movies that they may not be able to do individually, but yet still working individually under their own labels. That works out, I feel, pretty well for each other. So not only will we be getting more content as a whole, but we're still going to be getting individual content from Blumhouse and from James Wan's Atomic Monster, which was one of the concerns I had, because if we're going to merge them permanently as one company, then you could have creator differences. So if one's trying to make a movie that the other's not too keen on the script or details, there could be a big falling out, and we're not getting any movie from either direction. But if we're still going to be working on movies under each individual label, and then merge together to make other horror movies, that just doubles down on the content. I think that's a great idea. So this could be some of the best news we've gotten in horror in a long time. So let me know down below what your thoughts are of this merger. I'm sure you have a lot of them. Do me a favor, drop a like on the video as well, and hit that subscribe button on your way out. I'm Kevin, and I'll see you at the concession stands.